So, Formula One is about to go through probably its most radical reinvention in decades. The cars you see on track today, yeah, they're about to look like museum pieces. In 2026, the sport is getting a serious sci-fi upgrade, and we're going to break down exactly what that means for the future of racing. Okay, get this. Imagine a car that can literally shed its own wings at 200 miles per hour. That sounds completely wild, right? Something straight out of a movie. But the crazy part is, this isn't science fiction. This is the real deal. It's at the core of Formula One's official regulations for 2026. This is the future that teams and drivers are building for right now. All right, so how on earth are we getting to these shape-shifting wings? Well, before we dive into that, we've got to understand the big picture, the whole philosophy behind this massive reset. And it all starts with a totally new car concept. It's what the FIA is calling the nimble car concept. And the goal here is pretty simple, really. They want to get away from these huge, heavy, kind of like land yachts we have today, and move towards something lighter, smaller, and way more agile. And it's all in the name of one thing: better wheel-to-wheel racing. The numbers behind this are pretty serious. First off, they're shedding 30 kilograms. Now, I know that might not sound like a huge number, but trust me, in a sport where they obsess over every single gram, that is a massive diet. It's going to make these cars feel completely different to drive. And then there's the wheelbase. That's the distance between the front and rear wheels. That's being cut by 200 millimeters, which will make the cars shorter and way more responsive in the corners. And to top it off, they're also going to be 100 millimeters narrower. So you put all that together, lighter, shorter, narrower, we're talking about a fundamentally smaller machine that's just designed to be chucked around the track. But you know, the real game changer here is the aerodynamics. Just look at these numbers. Downforce is getting slashed by 30%, and drag is being cut by a mind-blowing 55%. This isn't just a tweak, it's a complete rethink of how these cars stick to the road and slice through the air. So, you might be asking, why go through all this trouble? Well, the biggest problem right now is something called dirty air. Think of it like the choppy water behind a speedboat. The current cars create so much of it that it's nearly impossible for a car behind to follow closely because it loses so much grip. This whole reset is designed to fix that, to improve the show, and also to push a big sustainability agenda with 100% sustainable fuels. And hey, it's already worked to bring in new investment, attracting a record 6 engine makers, including huge names like Ford and Audi. Okay, so we've got a smaller car, less drag, but how does it actually get around a corner without all that old-school downforce? Well, that brings us to the most spectacular change, the one you can really see: active aerodynamics. For the first time ever, both the front and rear wings are going to be movable. Drivers will basically have 2 modes at their fingertips. You've got Z mode, that's your high downforce setting, with all the flaps out to really push the car into the track for maximum cornering grip. And then when they hit the straights, boom, they switch to X mode, which flattens the wings right out to cut the drag and just go for pure top speed. And make no mistake, this isn't some gimmick they'll use once in a while. No, drivers are going to be flicking between these modes every single lap in specific zones. It's a whole new layer of skill and strategy that's put right back into the driver's hands. So all this new active aero means we're saying goodbye to something we've known for over a decade, the drag reduction system, or DRS. But what's replacing it? Oh man, it's something way more powerful.
Yeah, I'm not even exaggerating. One technical director has already called it DRS on steroids. So how does this thing actually work? It's called the manual override. Here's the deal. When one car gets right up behind another, this whole new dynamic kicks in. The car in front, its electrical power starts to drop off at around 290 kilometers per hour. But the car behind? Oh, they get a button for a massive surge of power. We're talking a 350 kilowatt boost that they can use all the way up to 337 kilometers per hour. That's a huge speed difference for making the pass.
And the reason this is even possible is because of the brand new engine formula. Look at the split. It's a perfect 50-50 between the good old combustion engine, running on sustainable fuel, by the way, and electric power. That electric part is getting a nearly 300% power boost, and that's what's feeding this insane manual override system. So what happens when you put it all together? You've got lighter, twitchier cars, you've got active wings, and this new strategic boost button. What do you get? Well, you get a formula that puts the emphasis squarely back on raw driver skill. I mean, think about the new challenges for the drivers. They'll have to nail the timing on their Z mode and X mode switches every single lap. They'll have to play this chess game of when to deploy that manual override boost. And with 30% less aero grip gluing them to the track, they're going to have to wrestle these lighter, twitchier cars through corners, using just pure mechanical grip and a whole lot of finesse.
Okay, so this is the million-dollar question, right? Who's going to come out on top? A reset this huge could completely shuffle the deck. Let's just take a look at how the grid is already changing.
Just the engine deals alone tell you we're in for a wild ride. You've got Red Bull teaming up with Ford, Aston Martin getting a full works Honda deal, and of course, the big one, Audi is coming in, taking over Sauber. This creates a whole new, totally unpredictable power dynamic across the grid.
You know, the legendary designer Adrian Newey put it perfectly. He said that usually the same top teams find a way to stay at the top. But he admitted a reset this big always opens the door for a surprise. Kind of like back in 2009 with Braun GP, right? They came out of nowhere and won it all.
So yeah, when you add it all up, the total rules reset, the new engines, the active aero, and this massive focus back on the driver, the 2026 grid feels more wide open than it has in a very, very long time. And that leaves us with the ultimate question. Is this all going to give us a new golden era of amazing, unpredictable wheel-to-wheel racing? Or is one team just going to figure it all out faster than everyone else and kick off another era of total dominance? I guess we'll just have to wait and find out in 2026.